One of the overarching themes, or one of the scenes that's repeated again and again in Scripture, is that whenever God gets involved, two things happen. The first thing is that people really feel like they're in dire straits. They recognize that in the presence of the holy God, the creator of the cosmos, that they have nothing to stand on. The second thing that happens is that in the midst of their own sort of moment of despair, how can I live in the presence of the holy God? God reaches out and holds onto them and creates them anew. And I think that's the heart of what happens in preaching, that something similar is happening. So Isaiah, the Lord comes to Isaiah, and Isaiah's first word is, I am a man of unclean lips. Or Moses wants to see the Lord, but realizes he can't live and see the Lord, so he hides his face in the cleft of a rock. Or Peter witnesses Jesus, recognizes Jesus as the Son of God, and the first thing he says is, get away from me, I'm a sinner. And in each of those instances, the Lord doesn't then go away or condemn the sinner or leave that person in despair, but reaches out and by naming that one beloved or righteous, or in Isaiah's case, giving him a message to proclaim, or in Peter's case, calling Peter to be a fisher of persons, the person's restored and recreated. And I think that's the primary dynamic of preaching, that we're called first to hold up a mirror and allow us to see things, see our lives as they really are, which is not at all about shaming. And often it's not about condemning, but it's about describing life, our hopes and our disappointments, our joys and our despair, our successes and our failures, so that we're under no illusions about the preciousness of life, but also its brokenness and its insufficiency and its need. And that's really what I mean by the sense of the preacher's first task is to tell the truth about the human condition. Artists, our novelists, our playwrights, our painters, the ones writing movie scripts do this really well. They tell the story of humanity in all of its glory and horror. What Christian preachers bring to the task is not only a similar commitment to telling that truth the first time, but then also to tell a second truth, which is to say, the story of our lives as we know it is not the end of the story. It's not the only story. There's also this other truth that needs to be told, which comes through in the Bible, that every time God encounters humanity, God reaches out in mercy, grace, and forgiveness to restore humanity. And that's the other truth we're called to tell, not only about our brokenness, but God's desire to heal, not only about all the death around us, but that God's promise to give us and restore us to life. So the preaching task at core is to tell the truth, but to tell it twice, the truth of our lives and the truth of God's tenacious, indefatigable, gracious response to our lives and God's commitment to us, to be with us and for us always.